very much. I know this is going to probably sound very, well, first of all, let me just say I'm bringing greetings to you from Jerusalem. Honestly, and I mean this with all of my heart, thank you for praying for Israel. Thank you for praying for Jerusalem. You know, there's no other city that God commands his people to pray for than Jerusalem. He doesn't ask us to pray for London or pray for Paris or Saudi Arabia or any other country or any other city, but he does tell us to pray for Jerusalem. And there's a reason, because we need those prayers. It's the epicenter of spiritual conflict that's taking place even today. God's in control. God's the one that has initiated the conflict. He's in control, but we need to continue to pray into it. And so sincerely, I really mean that with all of my heart. I was sitting there as you were speaking. I'm sorry, I didn't get to catch your name. Monty, that's right, I did catch your name. I forgot it. And it went out the other side. And honestly, to hear those words, it just made my heart well up with joy. We need your prayers, and so please continue to pray, and to continue to pray for the nations, because this is crucial. What God is doing in them impacts Israel. What God's doing in Israel impacts the whole world, and so and all of the nations. And so we need to continue to pray in those things. So thank you, Rabbi Roy, for allowing me just a few minutes to share. You know, it's exciting what's happening in Israel. It's exciting what's happening in the world. And we get to be a part of it. You know, God's called us here for this season and this purpose. And what Monty said is very true. The calling that you have on your congregation is very important. When God creates something, he creates it with a purpose in mind. So when he created you with a very specific calling and purpose in mind, things that he wanted to accomplish through you that he wouldn't accomplish through another congregation down the road. And this is the day and hour that we've been called to, and the world looks like it's a mess all around us. But that's a good thing, because in the middle of that mess, we can see the footprints of God who is creating the dust of that mess. And this is what I mean. Just a couple of weeks ago, last Sunday, a week ago today, 70 nations gathered together in Europe, in Paris, as they were going to, in the supposed peace conference, where they were going to make decisions concerning Israel, concerning the Palestinians, without inviting Israel, without inviting the Palestinians. And they were going to make unilateral decisions about peace. And they were going to, in fulfillment of Scripture even, when the world gathers together and starts chanting out peace, 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 the end is near. And they began to say, we need to find some way we're going to make these two entities have peace. And then a few weeks before that, the UN Security Council 2334, as they proclaimed unilaterally, without talking to Israel, without talking to the Palestinians or the rest of the nations, they unilaterally declared that Jews living in the West Bank and in Jerusalem and in different areas of Israel were illegal, as if Israel isn't a sovereign country. And when you think about all of the news, all of the information that is projected on the news all the time, Israel gets a majority of that information. They get a majority of the attention of the nations of the world. And if you look at Israel, it's just this teeny tiny country. I've been in Texas for about a week now, and Texas is huge. I always knew it was big, but now I really know it's big. You can drive, and you're still in Texas. You can't do that in Israel. You drive, and then you have to put on the brakes, because suddenly you're at the other side. It's a small country, and it has a population that's less than 1% of the whole world. In fact, if you add up all the Jews worldwide, it's still less than 1% of the entire population of the world. And yet, they get almost 100% of the attention. That's ironic. something behind that makes you go, well, why Israel? Why the Jews? Why this little teeny tiny country? Why this little teeny insignificant people group? Why all the attention? Why all the controversy around the Jewish people? From the very beginning it's been this way. If you look at the way that Israel started, as God called Abraham out, God creates this new nation. It's one man and his family. It's going to be a brand new nation with the stars of the sky, the sands of the sea. The population is going to be as big as that. And in the beginning there was controversy as there was this, who's going to receive the blessing? Ishmael or somebody else? Is it going to be Isaac, Ishmael, and then Isaac has 2 children? Is it going to be Jacob or is it going to be Esau? And there's controversy. God created the controversy around this little teeny nation, around this little people group. And so sometimes we don't want to actually hear that God creates controversy. But that's what God's done with the Jewish people, and with the nation of Israel. He's done it for a purpose. From the very birth of the modern nation of Israel, they've experienced in these 68 years 15 wars, 7 major wars in that, 8 smaller crucial conflicts. And I would say this is the idea that I want you to capture today, that God has inspired, God has initiated all of the controversy surrounding Israel. It's there because of God. Because it's a result of God going after, hunting down, wooing to himself, pursuing the fallen hearts of mankind. Amen. Because he loves his creation. He loves you and me. He loves those terrorists even that are trying to destroy us and to destroy the nation of Israel. He loves them. They're his enemies. He loved us when we were his enemies. And God loves every part of his creation, and he's going after them with very strong intentionality. And so the conflict and the controversy that we see surrounding the nation of Israel today is proof that God is actively moving in the earth today. And there's a conflict between the will of God and the will of the enemy, because Israel plays a major role in God's story. It's not that they're better than anybody else. They're not better than you. But they play a specific role that God has created them to fulfill. And when God creates, like we said at the beginning, he creates with a purpose and a plan in mind. Like he has created this congregation to pray for the nations. Do that with all of your heart. Put your heart, soul, and mind and strength into that. Who else is going to do it? The nations aren't going to do it. God's called you to do it. When God created Israel, he created with a purpose and a plan in mind. And he said to Abraham, I will bless those who bless you. I will curse those who curse you. And through you, all of the nations of the earth will be blessed. Through you, Abraham, and your descendants, through the Jewish people, all of the nations of the world will be blessed. So God created the Jewish people so that his true heart of love could be seen in all of the nations. That every man, woman, and child would be touched as he blesses the Jewish people. He'll be able to bless supernaturally all of the nations of the world. Because he loves the nations of the world. So your calling to pray for the nations of the world is strategic in this day, in this hour. That's who God loves. That's his plan, that's his heart. And he created Israel, he created the Jewish people to be that conduit that would carry his blessing. He wants to bless like a father blesses a child. He wants to bless the nations of the world with his goodness, with his mercy, with his kindness, with his salvation and his forgiveness, with the truths of who Yeshua is. That's a wonderful blessing that the majority of the nations of the world do not have. And he's still using Israel and the Jewish people to do that today. God's going after the fallen heart of man. See, this is how God works. God makes the distinction. and then he makes us make the choice. God's created us with this wonderful gift of free will. Sometimes that wonderful gift doesn't feel so wonderful. Sometimes it would be nice if God just made us like robots and we just did what was right. But he's given us the ability to make free choice. And he sets it up this way so that even in the beginning with Abraham and Ishmael and Isaac, Abraham had to make a choice. God's way or his way. God makes the distinction. Is it Isaac or is it Ishmael? Is it Jacob or is it Esau? Is it Israel or is it the rest of the nations of the world? God makes the distinction. We have to make the choice. So the Jewish people in the land of Israel today are like this sieve that God's using to sift out the hearts of mankind throughout all the nations of the world as we make our decisions concerning this little teeny nation and this little group of people. Are we going to choose God's way? Or are we going to choose our way, what we feel like is right from our own understanding and our own hearts? And God asks us to put our hearts into his camp and to follow his design and what he's designed for the nation of Israel. Job describes it this way, that it's the valley of decision, that God is bringing the nations of the world into this place, this supposed valley of decision. It's not a physical place, though there will be some physical places that will play out in. It's a spiritual condition of our hearts. The valley of decision is where we make our decision. Are we going to stand with God and what he's saying, this is my way, or are we going to just choose our own way and accomplish our own plans? Dennis Prager says that the Jews have always been God's messenger, but the world hasn't and has not wanted to hear that message. They've always been his messenger. From the very beginning, this was his plan. That's why he created them. But mankind doesn't want to hear that message. So the current situation in Israel, which is never without news, is there for a purpose. The dust that's being stirred up in this conflict and controversy is there in a way to capture the eyes and the hearts, the attention of mankind. And make us come to that place, that valley of decision where we have to decide, are we going to choose God's way? Or are we going to choose our way? And so your prayers for Israel, your prayers for the Jewish people, your prayers for Jerusalem are significant in that conflict. Truly they are. Don't ever feel like your prayer is insignificant, because it is powerful. And this is where God gets his greatest work done, as we, the body of Yeshua, pray into the situations that are happening on the earth today. So what's happening in Israel right now? What's happening with the Jewish people? The congregation King of Kings, I've had the privilege of being a part of King of Kings now for well over 20 years. My wife and I moved to Jerusalem when we were young. I still had black hair. In fact, I had hair. And we moved to Jerusalem in 1996, and we worked with a few different Christian organizations for a period of 13 years. During that time, we were always a part of King of Kings. King of Kings was our church home, and we did, like you do in your church home, you participate in every way there is to participate. So we planned activities, and we cooked hamburgers at the barbecues, and we cleaned up the trash, and we served in the worship team, and we served on the elder board and the building committee, and we did everything that there was to do. It was our church home. And after 13 years, the country of Israel said, you've been in Israel too long, you need to go back to your home country. We went back to the States, to Colorado, and we've been in Colorado for the last 7 years, excuse me. 6 of those years I've been on staff at a large church doing marriage and family. About a year and a half ago, God opened up this amazing window, miraculously inviting us to come back to serve with King of Kings in Jerusalem. We moved back 7 months ago. And so I've known King of Kings for a little over 20 years. And King of Kings is now in a place as a congregation that's been there for over 33 years. It's set up by God in this place to do some amazing things in the future. It's more healthy now than I've ever seen it as a congregation. And God has put all the pieces and parts together in a way where we're this, I'm trying to find the right word to describe it. We are this congregation, I want to say it in the right way, Lord, show me how to say it. We are set up healthy and strong as a structure to do all of what God wants to do in the nation through his body in Israel, like we've never been able to do before. We are organized, we have great people on staff, we have a wonderful vision caster. Many, many great things are taking place there. But the most exciting part is this. The body of Yeshua, the body of Christ in Israel, is healthy, and it's strong, and it's maturing, and it's growing. It's still less than 1% of the whole nation of Israel. This little teeny tiny body of believers. But I think what's important is that we're healthy, and we're strong, and it's a growing congregation. We just added a new congregation to our staff in Herzliya. We added an Ethiopian community to our congregations about 6 months ago. And we are getting ready to add 2 new congregations in the year and a half in front of us. Arabic-speaking congregation, as well as a Chinese congregation. We've been talking to the Chinese who are loving Israel. They're capturing that heart of God with regards to his people and the land of Israel. And they want to send and set up a congregation in Jerusalem. And so they're working with King of Kings. And we feel honored and privileged to be able to do that. So your prayers are vital. I mean that with all of my heart. Please continue to pray for Israel. Please continue to pray for the Jewish people, for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for the congregations there. When we were there 20 years ago, and over that 13-year period, there were a few congregations. I would say there was a handful of congregations. Now they're exponential. There are congregations throughout the whole country. They're not huge. Lots of them are house churches. They're not as in nice facilities as this, but they're there, and they're growing, and they're reaching out into their communities. And so this little teeny tiny body is beginning to grow, and they're finding confidence in the Lord. They're not afraid to be who they are, because we don't really realize it, but they receive lots of persecution from the government usually, but also sometimes from the Orthodox community and others that are afraid of what Christianity might mean in their community. And so they're afraid to actually allow believing Christians, Jewish believing Christians, to be there in the country, but it's growing. And it's a healthy place where we're at, but it needs a lot of prayer. So that's what my update from Jerusalem, and just continue to pray. Thank you for being faithful to that call. Thank you for being faithful to what God created you as a congregation to be and to do. It's strategic for the day and the hour in which we live. Amen. Thank you so much.